Did the narcissist in your life try to pit other people against you? Try to get other people against you, either in relationships, either in friendships, either in co-working environments, maybe trying to slander or trying to show other people like, hey, this person isn't who they seem, and all of a sudden you're painted out to be the bad guy? Maybe you found like in your life where the narcissist in your life seemed to turn other people against you. I want you to know that you're not alone. Like there's a lot of people that struggle with this and we don't talk about it enough. And so I want to explore some of the tactics that narcissists use to be able to turn other people against you, to be able to pit them against you, and the impact it has on relationships and how to be able to navigate this as well. And one of the things that I bring to the table is just trying to help people understand just awareness piece of narcissism. If you guys are new, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist, just trying to help educate people and break people free of the trauma bond, the rumination, the intrusive thoughts. We've done this by trying to put together different challenges to help people step by step build the habits that they need to transition out of abusive relationships, first mentally and emotionally. If you want to check that out, you can go to escapetoxicity.com today. It is our week-long challenge for $7 total. There's no added fees, no extra stuff, but it's just saying, hey, show up. Here's a community. Here's people that are going through the same challenge. Here's daily videos and text to read, daily assignments to break you free, to help you understand narcissistic abuse, the reactive abuse, the guilt, the shame, the why did I stay, all those different questions, and to be able to see the formula we use to break people out of the trauma bond every single time, consistently. So check that out, escapetoxicity.com today. Now, when we're talking through this piece of narcissistic manipulation and pitting people, turning other people against you, there's this piece of unseen scheming, okay? The manipulation that hides underneath the surface. Now, for narcissists, it's trying to create different alliances between other people to serve their agenda. Now, for me, how this showed up the most was in the work environment. Of like, what alliances do I need to build with people in the work environment that are strong, powerful, or have this certain type of influence that I want over other team members, other coworkers. So I'd build connection and reliance with certain people because I knew if I had this, I could get the things done that I wanted to get done. Because that was the agenda. That was the idea of trying to move forward and helping people get to a certain end result, to a certain idea. And so I would use that as a place to be able to leverage that over other people. If I can connect with this person and get them to do what I want them to do, they can influence other people that maybe I can't influence. So it's all about like, how do I need to build to serve the agenda? Now, with narcissists and using this aspect of pitting other people against each other, the whole piece is like sowing discord, like making there being division and also creating alliances at the same time. Now, the hard part is you don't know that it's happening. Like you don't see it. You don't see it typically. So after all of a sudden, like there's been people that have been your friends or have been connected to you that are now pitted against you. You're like, how did this even happen? It comes down to this piece where the narcissist has been scheming behind the scenes. And like, you're like, I don't know what's going on because they've been telling other people about how abusive you are. They've been telling other people about how awful it is being in a relationship with you. And they're struggling with like how to be able to help you or how to be able to work with you. All different things trying to paint you as a bad person. Or they're trying to pit other people against each other. Of like saying, did you hear what this person said about you? Like, I can't believe they'd respond that way. I didn't realize that they didn't like you that way. Like, there's all these subtle things, and they are subtle. They're really hard to catch up on. And so by creating this like disconnection from different people, narcissist gets control. Okay, gets control of the situation of the people, but it also deflects any attention away from their own behavior. So you like see they're showing up really negative or like they're hurting you or all these things. You don't notice it because you're paying too much attention trying to salvage a friendship or relationship that they've already destroyed on the back end. Okay, this tactic, it's cruel and it's crucial for you to understand and to help address this behavior. It doesn't mean you're going to always see it though. That's the hard piece. This is why it's really important to establish and put people around you that are going to be transparent, that are going to be honest with you. But you might be in a relationship right now with a narcissist and he portrays you negatively to his friends, to his family. And it leads them to doubt your character. It leads them to doubt if you are a safe person for him to be around, if you are healthy. Constantly giving this doubt and this idea to everybody else that he might be the victim. He might be in an abusive relationship. Then when you finally say something, people aren't believing you because he's already prepped them. He's already like educated them on his lies, his alternate version of reality, to be able to manipulate the situation and look like the good person, even though he's the one doing the toxic negative things. This piece weakens your support network. The people in your life that should be there to support you, friends, family, coworkers, whatever it might be, aren't there because he's been slowly working around isolating you from them. You have to remember, a narcissist isolates other people not overtly. Typically, it's never like, you can't do this, you're not allowed, but you'll pay the price. You'll pay the price later by the silent treatment. You'll pay the price later by him not engaging with you, by him pulling away, by him yelling, by him getting upset, by whatever it might be after the moment. You'll pay the price. The hard thing is the manipulation slowly eats away at anybody in your life that could help, that could actually shed some light to your situation. So narcissists will do this. They'll create alliances with other people behind your back. They'll talk about you behind your back. They'll scheme with other people, trying to make sure other people know that it's a bad relationship. Okay? Reason why I know this as well, because this is what I did. I mentioned before, I did this in the work environment, did this in the private environment as well, of interacting with other affairs. Talking about the relationship, talking about intimate details between myself and my wife, being like, yeah, this is what's going on. Talking about how she would react to the abusive nature that I had, leaving out the abusive nature and just talking about her reaction. Produces a sympathy, right? Like other people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you have to work with that. You have to deal with that. Creating alliances and divides between different people. This is what a narcissist does. Then what this does is it ultimately brings to a place of having strained connections, because it impacts the relationships that you have greatly. Like when you're pitted against another person, when you're pitted against anyone by a narcissist, it leads to relationships that get into extreme strain and extreme isolation. Like the narcissist's whole goal is if I can put you against each other, it will lead to a breakdown in communication. Even if you just think for a moment that this person doesn't have your best interest in mind. So you've got you and you've got, say, your friend. The narcissist has been communicating to your friend one thing and communicating to you another thing, so triangulating you, and then you try to communicate with the friend, it doesn't seem to work because they already have this preconceived idea about who you are behind closed doors, and you already have this preconceived idea about what they're saying about you, and all of a sudden it starts to break it down. Starts to break down trust between you and your family members, your coworkers, your friends. All of these people that have been influenced by the narcissist might start to distance themselves from you. They might pull away. And you're like, why would these people pull away? I need them right now, because they don't know what's going on from you. And all they have is the perception of the reality that the narcissist is projecting on them. So a narcissist will use this to influence other people to distance themselves from you, to treat you differently, causing you to be in a place of emotional duress and isolation. Okay, think of it this way, he's been slowly spreading false stories about you to the mutual friends. They start treating you different, maybe even with skepticism, coldness, or criticism. And it causes you emotional pain and a sense of betrayal, because you're like, why would they be doing this? And what you don't see is below the surface, the narcissist has slowly been talking and working with his people, trying to pit them against you. This is really hard to see in the relationship. It's really hard to see. And so this is why it's important to really evaluate the friends that you have, evaluate some of the communication that's happening between you and your friends, or the narcissist and your friends, just to be able to understand, where is this actually going? What's happening? Again, as you start to see people pull away, sometimes they're pulling away because they don't actually know the truth. Sometimes they're uncomfortable. They realize there's something manipulative, there's something here, but they don't know how to address it. They don't know what you know, what you don't know. They don't know what he knows, what he doesn't know. It gets really, really messy. And so the one piece that we can focus on is you focusing on the truth of the situation and understanding, hey, when you lead yourself in a way of complete honesty and transparency, it will show other people what's actually real. But when we hide stuff, so typically what a survivor will do is they'll hide the narcissistic abuse because they've been telling people that it feels great, that it's amazing, that's the best relationship ever. Then when it's not, they'll run away from the truth. The truth to themselves and the truth to other people, oftentimes boxing them into their own aspect of isolation. Some people are like, the narcissist would never isolate me. But the problem is you've already isolated yourself by your unwillingness to tell the truth to everyone. This is what's happening. My relationship sucks because he's abusive. And I get it. There's fear of what are other people going to think? Well, what about this? What about that? What about his job? What about me? All these different things. I get that. But at the end of the day, the reason why a lot of times people will stay isolated is because they're unwilling to actually tell the truth when it's happening. And then years later, when you're coming forth and you're saying like, hey, this has been happening the entire relationship, people don't believe you because they've been like, you've been saying it's been amazing for such a long period of time. Like, I don't even understand. How does this make sense? And the people are confused, people are lost, people are frustrated, and it leaves you then further isolated. So the piece with this of like understanding and recognizing this is using this to be able to see what is actually happening. Like recognizing the signs of slander, character assassination, false narratives that are kind of like swirling around allows you to help respond with clarity and integrity for you. Like think about, there might be an employee or a coworker that works with a narcissistic manager. The manager starts to spread rumors about that employee's performance, leading other coworkers to view them as being incompetent or not very good enough. Recognizing the manipulation helps the employee confront the situation and gather evidence of their actual achievements, going back to either the narcissistic boss or the person above them. Like you have to be able to see it, you have to be able to work through it, but a big piece of it is you have to be able to show up so honest and so true to yourself that people see it already. So that your friends and your family members are like, yeah, no, she's not that way. So I'm not going to believe what you're saying because I've seen how she's been living for such a long period of time. What I would encourage you is wherever you're at right now with your relationship and you haven't communicated the abusive things that are happening in the relationship, you need to talk to somebody. You need to get connected to people who understand. You need to be connected with people that can support you in this. Whether that's certain friends or family that you haven't been honest with, you haven't shown up and saying, hey, this is what's really going on. You need to do that. Maybe you don't feel safe doing that and you'd rather do that in a community. That's what we've built. A secure community that you can actually join and walk through and understand, hey, when I see this, when I understand this, I'm able to be free. That's the whole goal. That's the whole progression. So if you're interested in that, go to escapetoxicity.com today and sign up to start your journey to healing.